Hello, my Mercurial mercenaries. I managed to do it again. This video is a video that I'm recording, and it's about copyright. And it's a video I'm recording because I've had so many issues over the past couple of weeks with videos I've been trying to upload that I haven't ended up uploading anything. And so this was going to be a stopgap using that subject about having nothing but problems. And what's happened is that I've already just recorded this video, and I found that due to technical issues to do with a certain microphone that shall remain nameless, there's nothing but static noise over the whole thing. So unless you want it... I mean, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant video. I thought I was on top form. So I've already done this whole video. And I spoke at length, and it was great. And what's happened now is that the car is boiling hot, and I've said everything I had to say. And you know what it's like, my mercenaries, when you have to say everything again, when you've just said... I said it with gusto, and I meant it the first time. Can I say it all again and truly mean it? Probably not. So rather than say it, let's just talk a load of shit. What I said at the beginning of the last video was, hey, here we are. For those viewers who remember the old days, here we are, my mercenaries. And I feel like you've been cheated. Here we are. We're in the car. We're in the car. I was going to talk about copyright. A homeless guy had a good idea a minute ago. A homeless guy, he sat down. He parked himself in his sleeping bag next to the machine where you pay for your parking. It was good. So usually they'll say to you as you walk past, they'll say, got any change, mate? And I tend to, would you walk by on the other side when someone calls for aid? I tend to either walk on the other side of the street or try and look. See, this is going to get me some thumbs downs now, isn't it, my mercenaries? But I wasn't sweating the first time I did this video because it wasn't so hot in here. Now it's as hot as the sun in here. And I certainly didn't talk about this the first time. The first time was just about copyright. But yeah, perhaps I'm not a nice person, but I tend to walk on the other side, look the other way. Got any change, mate? And you pat your pockets, or you just... No. The problem is, this guy had chosen to sit right next to the machine where you pay for your parking. So when he says, as I'm fondling... Oh, I could fondle. As I'm fumbling for my change to put it in the machine, he says, got any change, mate? And I'm like, no. And he goes, what's that? What's that you got in your hands there? And I'm going, this? What, this? It's just, yeah. I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I understand, but this isn't what it looks like. This is just some random pieces of like metal. They look like coins to me, mate. Yeah, I know they look like coins. They might look like coins. They might feel like coins. They might taste like coins. But I mean, well, come on. Would I lie to you? It's just just metal shapes. That's what coins are, mate. Aren't they? They're metal shapes. Yeah. I mean, he had a point. He had a point, my mercenaries. Coins are just metal shapes. They're metal shapes. But he had a good idea, though, sitting next to that pay machine. Yeah. Copyright. You can tell I've done this video before, because this is what happens. This is what happens, my mercenaries, when you do something right through the first time. I think that about bands who create albums. And it happens all the time. It happened with the re-release of Appetite for Destruction recently, when you find out that a band recorded a whole album in a studio with a particular producer, and then they weren't happy with it, and then they record the whole album again, probably in a different studio with a different producer. And what happens with those sort of situations is you usually only hear the final product, and when you only hear the final product, you only hear that one version of something, and the one version of something is the one version that you know. But I can imagine, my mercenaries, that the spirit can be lost. You put the energy, the enthusiasm, the gusto into version 1, and then you have to recreate that enthusiasm for version 2. I mean, which is what we're doing here. And it happens. That kind of, the exuberance, the spirit. There's bands that will record demo versions of their songs, and then they'll record a version of the album in the studio, which is supposed to be the version, but they end up using the demo tapes instead. It happens. And there's times where I'll prefer like a John Peel session, where a band just goes into a studio and just plays live for the radio. The Buzzcocks, Fast Cars by the Buzzcocks. The John Peel session of that song, I prefer that to the studio version. It happens, my mercenaries. It's about exuberance and enthusiasm. And there's something about the first time. And there's artists who will just do one take, and whatever happens in that one take, that first take, they'll keep it. Sometimes it works. And the Miles Davis kind of blue, that's that kind of idea. Just turn up, record, whatever you capture, move on. Bob Dylan used to do a lot of that. Turn up, record, capture it. Other bands would do take after take after take after take. Both ways can work. Copyright, my mercenaries. I didn't say any of that on the original video, but I wasn't sweating on the original video. Copyright, my mercenaries. Ever feel like you're being cheated? Copyright's important. Now, I've had some issues over the past couple of weeks with copyright that has meant that I've been unable to present you with any new videos. And it's really the reason for this kind of stopgap video. But copyright is important, and I'm going to explain why. Copyright is a law that's protecting property. Often it's protecting intellectual property. Property is usually tangible, right? Someone gets some oranges, they press the oranges, they make the bottle, and when it's in my hand, it's a bottle of Juice Burst. And if someone takes this Juice Burst from me, they've stolen it. They've stolen it from me. But everything you create is tangible. I mean, I'm going to be talking artistically here, but visual arts, paintings, sculptures that you can feel, films that you can see, music that you can hear. It's been music mainly during my life. But the amount of work, the amount of effort it takes to create art, the amount of investment of your time, because I keep saying to you guys, but time is our most valuable commodity on this planet. We're only here for limited time. And if you spend your valuable time creating the song, then the end result is something that is very valuable. It's extremely valuable to you. And you know, I've had discussions with people on here before. Anything is only worth what someone else is prepared to pay. But when it comes to sort of theft of songs, I remember when I was in my first band, I suppose it was, when I was like 15, 16, 17, can't quite remember, but it was one of my first songs I ever wrote. Crappy song, DCG, why don't you sing, you don't love me. I think it was called Why. I don't think it was called Why, it was called Why. WHY exclamation mark. And back then we had guitarists coming through the band, because we had a drummer, a bass player, a singer, guitarist, trying to get members through the band. And people would come in, we'd learn the songs, we'd play the songs, and we either kept them or didn't keep them. Anyway, going on a couple of years, someone who went to a different school to me, who was friends with one of the guitarists who had come through the band, who went to a different school to me. So I had no connection to this guy. He came in, learnt the songs, pissed off. And they said to me, Mercurial number 6, did you realise that when I do that, that's his name. That's not his name. He wasn't like Roadrunner or something, but I'm beeping his name out manually with my mouth, right? Did you, and I'm doing because he had a Christian name and a surname, right? Did you realise that ripped your song off? I was like, what? He goes, yeah, it was actually her. She said this, it was she. She went, did you realise he ripped your song off? And I went, no, what song? And she went, he handed Why, your song Why, in as his GCSE final music project. And I went, no way. And she handed me a piece of A4 paper and went, no, there, look. I don't know how she kept hold of it just to show me. And she handed it to me and it said, "Why, question mark, by doot doot." And there were the lyrics on the A4 sheet with all the D, C, like you do, you put the chord names above the lyrics so someone else can follow it. And yeah, he'd handed Y in as his final GCSE music project. I'd only met him for like 2 days and he'd, learnt the song to play it with us. And then, now, saying it today, I don't care. Did I care at the time? Can I remember? Can I remember if I cared? I thought it was interesting. I mean, if someone takes your song and they credit you, but they use it for some reason, but they credit you, but they use it, but they credit you, but they use it. That's one thing. But I suppose it's interesting when someone changes the name on the top of the exam paper, if you know what I mean. Just, it's like being in an exam, sitting next to somebody, and then just, when they look away, just switching the papers over and changing the names. It's the same sort of thing. I mean, that's outright theft. It was a shit song. It was a shit song. So I didn't care too much, but I did find it interesting. The sheer balls to do that. So, and that's on a very, 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 very small level, small scale. But so I can understand, the copyright thing. And I suppose he just thought I would never find out. And it didn't make any difference. I didn't do anything about it. Didn't change anyone's life. I would hope that even though it was a shit song, it was my shit song. And I hope he would have passed with flying colours. I hope. I mean, wouldn't it be awful, my mercenaries, if we found out that he failed his GCSE music because of my song? I never, do you know what? That probably happened when I was like 16, 17. I've never actually thought about that. I always assumed that he passed. Imagine if he failed. Holy shit. So I understand music theft. But copyright is there to protect the artist. And I remember in the old days, it always used to be said that you had to sort of create the copyright yourself. When you recorded a song, you had to put the cassette, this is how old I am, put the cassette in an envelope, seal it, write your own address on it, take it to the mail, raw mail, whatever, get it recorded, delivered to yourself, and then when you received it back, don't open it, just keep it. And if copyright of your song ever gets stolen, whatever, becomes an issue, you'd have this thing tangible to say, no, look, on this date, this song exists. You don't have to do that, my mercenaries. Even say, something is copyrighted the minute you create it. You don't have to do anything extra. But I understand sometimes you have to prove authorship. And I never liked that particular way of proving authorship because there's many ways that you can fraudulently stick a cassette in an envelope that's addressed to yourself, recorded delivery. There's ways and means, my mercenaries, but you don't have to do any of that. If you've written it, you've written it. Copyright exists. And in these days of DAWs, digital audio workstations, and time-stamped versions of songs, it's all much easier today. But copyright can be a hindrance, my mercenaries. We've talked about the positives, the protective aspect, but copyright can be a hindrance. Was there a time when anything an artist created was truly original? I'm going to posit yes. When the cavemen were first coming up with the idea of music, when the blokes were bashing rocks together and they were pulling the women's hair to get different screams, ow, 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 hitting saber-toothed tiger's teeth, slapping a diplodocus on the arse. My mercenaries, every sound they created back then was original. Even going forward in time to the classics like Mozart and Beethoven, they were not struggling to create sounds that were original. Yes, there were still people copying back then. There were people copying by accident. There were people copying on purpose. There were people dedicating the way that they were writing music to another artist. I'm writing in the style of Mozart. This is dedicated to Mozart. But it was easier to create original music. And even going forwards through blues and jazz to the 60s with the Beatles, it must have been inspiring to be Lennon and McCartney, having the ability to come up with albums, sounds, collections of songs that were truly innovative, truly original, something like Pet Sounds by Brian Wilson. And I still posit, but to this day, you listen, I remember, I brought this up in like 20 different videos now, but I remember hearing Smells Like Teen Spirit in like 1990, whenever it was, by Nirvana, and it sounded truly fresh, original. Yeah, it was just punk, but it sounded original. You can still sound original. Portishead sounded original. Every so often, it's like a cycle. New things will come along that sound original. And someone will always say, when you say something like that, they'll say, yeah, but take Nirvana's Come As You Are. I mean, listen to In the 80s by Killing Joke. Take a band like Guns N' Roses, who, you know, Appetite for Destruction, one of the greatest albums of all time. A song like Sweet Child of Mine on there. I love that song. You hear the story. Slash was just playing a practice riff, which he thought was stupid and he would never use. And Axl shouted across and said, no, keep that. That's brilliant. And they came up with Sweet Child of Mine. Turns out, there's an Australian band a few years before who wrote basically Sweet Child of Mine. Listen to it. Google it. YouTube it. It's ripped off. Guns N' Roses will say it wasn't. It's a bloody shame, though. It's a bloody shame. I had it yesterday, in fact. My favourite song to listen to on a Saturday morning is She Worked Out Too Much. She Works Out Too Much by MGMT. Love it. Great song. Radio was playing yesterday. Shaka Khan's I Feel For You came on. And I stopped what I was doing and I thought, holy shit. That is She Works Out Too Much by MGMT. It doesn't make She Works Out Too Much less of a song. Perhaps if I read the album notes, it would credit Prince or Shaka Khan. I don't know. But then we're back to giving credit. Credit where credit's due. So our mercenaries, this hindrance factor. Are we now in an age, today, 2018, are we now in a time where it is impossible to write a song without stepping on someone's toes? Any song that you or I write today, any song you hear by any band that you like, if you then scour the billions and billions of songs that are out there by the billions and billions of bands that are out there, because there is too much music, are you telling me you're not going to be able to find that song or something similar out there? Anything you write today, no matter how original you think you're going to be, are you telling me that amongst the billions and billions of songs out there, there's nothing similar? So that's what I'm saying. Is this our dark age, my mercenaries, our dark age of copyright, where it's now impossible to write anything original? Is that where we're at? People will tell you that, yes, there's only a certain number of notes in the Western music scale, but there are still infinite possibilities with those notes. And I would say that may be technically true. However, in practice, that number of notes, with the sort of conventional form we've got, 4 to the floor beats and things, not so sure. When it comes to lyrics, there's not an infinite number of words, but there's a massive amount of words, and there is certainly an infinite number of possibilities of ordering those words for lyrics. Therefore, lyrics should be infinitely original, yes? Well, I would say that's true if you're writing a book. If you're writing a book, I think we could all write books forever and have the ability to not produce books that are basically the same. I mean, word for word the same. Word for word the same. If I write a 300-page book, it's very unlikely you're going to write the same 300-page book, word for word. Lyrics, though? When you're talking about a pop song that only has a handful of lyrics, perhaps the chorus is just 5 words. Perhaps the chorus just says, I can't get you out of my head, over and over again. Or she loves you, or she works out too much. And given that most songs revolve around the topic of love as well, so love's one of those lyrics. Love is one of those words. Are there an infinite number of possibilities for pop song lyrics? Combine that then, what I'm saying there about the lyrics, with the music. Have we got an infinite number of possibilities? We've got an infinite number of technical differences. We've got an infinite number of minor differences between songs, but I think we're getting to the point now where any song you hear, you can pretty much point toward something in the past and say, that sounds similar to that. Pretty much. So now we get onto YouTube. And this is my problem for the past 2 weeks, really. So, if you're making a YouTube video and you use a clip of music to make a point, perhaps you're talking about music, and you use a few seconds of a song just to describe it, or you use a few seconds of a song in the background, what will happen is that music will be copyright claimed by the owner of the song. And we're back to why copyright's important now, because you don't want a tangible thing, which a song is, to be stolen. So people want to make money from the things they've created. So your video will be copyright claimed, adverts will be run on it, and the person who owns the song will get the money. If you make an hour video, or just take this video for example, if for the next 5 seconds I were to run a song underneath what I'm saying, so around now the song stops, this whole video will still be copyright claimed, and all of the money will go to the owner of the song that I played for 5 seconds. Now, the American guys will keep going on about fair use. I'm not sure if it applies in the UK and Europe, but the fair use thing, where you are allowed to take someone else's work and use it in a review capacity, a commentary capacity, an argument, to make an argument about it, to review a film, to talk about a song. You're allowed, if you add value to something, if you change something, if what you do on top of a song or on top of a video changes the nature of it, adds to it, creates extra value, you can call it fair use. And in that respect, you're supposed to be able to say, no, you're not going to run adverts in front of my video because this is now fair use. Yes, I used 5 seconds of your song, but it was fair that I did that because I was describing a chord structure. Now, I had this in the early days on this channel where I was trying to use music and I'd get a copyright claim every time. And what happened was I thought, well, if you're going to copyright claim me for 5 seconds of music or a minute of music, then I'm just going to play the whole damn album. If you're going to copyright claim it anyway, copyright claim the whole damn album. And then that's what I've been doing on my Discover series, just playing the whole album. And I consider that I add value. I am playing the whole album, and it is dodgy ground because I'm playing that artist's material and it's copyrighted. But I am, I would say, adding to the experience. I think I'm promoting the music, I'm promoting the bands, and people go out and buy the albums, and they do this. You guys have told me that they buy the music that I've talked about. So I think my Discover series is a positive for our community, and it's a positive for the music industry. I mean, I'm on a small scale here, but I've only ever really seen it as a positive thing. However, when I upload my Discover videos that I do, the copyright holder of the music has a choice. They have a choice of two things, basically. They can copyright claim the video, run ads at the front of it and make money from it, or they can block my video to stop anyone watching it. That's the main two choices. And this is it's like the perils of Penelope Pitstop. This is the knife edge that I walk. So for instance, last week, for the last 2 weeks, I've been working on a video, a Discover 53. I put loads of time and effort into it, and it has been worldwide blocked. And I struggle with this. I tried to what they do is they tell you which parts of the video have been picked up by the algorithm and been claimed by the copyright holder. They'll say from 40 seconds to 43 seconds is this song claimed by this record company. 51 seconds to 51 minutes to 53 minutes is this song by this. Fine. So to get around that, I thought, okay, you don't want those bits and pieces to be played. You want those blocked, fine. So I cut those out of the video. And I re-uploaded it, and it still got worldwide blocked. They chose another section, another whole list of bits and pieces from the video. So I understand. So I have this dilemma where I can try and fool the algorithm. I can speed up the sound. I could time stretch it. I can try bits and pieces to sort of hide what I've done. However, I then think the band had a choice. They could choose for me to promote their work, or they can block me. And if they choose to block me, why should I make any effort to get around that and still promote their work? So it looks like you're never going to see my review of King Cruel, The Ooze. And although if you can condense my review down to one sentence, it would be, yes, I liked the album, it was really good. All I can say now is, f King Cruel. Don't buy his album. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, this copyright thing's interesting. When I do the Discovers, I buy the albums. I usually buy them on vinyl. So I bought King Cruel's album for probably over 20 quid. I own it. I physically own it. I then did a video where I listened to it and talked about it, promoted it, talked over it so that people can't rip my video. I haven't distributed his songs or I haven't distributed his work. I've changed his work. It can't be used. What happens is, if you watch my video and you like what I'm talking about, you will have to then go and buy the album yourself. You can't use my video to listen to it because I'm talking over it. So I think I've done quite a unique thing here. And I bought the album. I buy these albums. Even when I do digital versions, like King Gizzard and that, I buy the album. I buy it. I own everything. I've never done a Discover that I don't own. I don't like reaction videos. I don't like them. I don't really consider that I do reaction videos. Say what you want, but I don't consider I do them. I think I'm doing something wholly original here, but whatever. We can argue that all day. But on the odd occasion, I have sort of accidentally watched other people's reaction videos, and these guys are just listening to shit off the free version of Spotify and getting thousands of hits on it. They don't even own the music. Mercenaries. It is disappointing. You can colour me disappointed when a band has two options: to allow me to do my bit, which I think is brilliant, about their music. It's only ever positive. I mean, I don't know whether it's true or not. I would hate to... I don't know whether it's true or not. But I got a message a couple of weeks ago from someone who works... This is what they say. Anyone could say this. This is what they said in the message to me. They said something like, "Hi, I work for Trey Exagthoth. The founder and whatever of Morbid Angel. Just to let you know that Morbid Angel have watched your videos and they're a fan. They like them." Now, take that with a pinch of salt. Anyone could type that in a message to me. But if that were to be true, I would understand that. Because if I was in a band and someone did a Discover about my band, I would be happy to watch it too. So for that reason, you can see why I'm a bit miffed when a band just worldwide blocks me and stops my effort. My bloody effort, my mercenaries. So you can see why I'm a bit pissed off with King Cruel. So if there is money to be made from Discover videos, who should get it? Because I'm saying that their option is to copyright claim it and get the money. Well, that's fine. I let them do that. I haven't fought it ever. I let the band claim the money. And some of my videos, perhaps the ones that have had like up to 10,000 views, perhaps the band actually did get, I don't know, a quid or something. But I'm talking about the principle of the thing here, not the actual money, just the principle of the money, because there's no real money to be made from this. I don't know if you've noticed or if I've told you, but I've basically demonetized this channel completely. There's no money to be made from this channel now. Not to me. Not to me. Any adverts you see at the beginning of my videos, the money will go to the bands, my mercenaries. But is that right? Or should I have been fighting this? Because I think I've made some of these albums better for talking over them and doing all the video editing over the top. I think I've actually improved the experience. Do you know what, my mercenaries? I hate to say this, but there are some albums I know more from my discovers than I do from actually listening to the original albums. I mean, that's weird because I'm in the, you know, it's because it's me. It's a bit narcissistic, but hey, that's the truth of the matter. I think if I were to monetize this channel, I think I actually deserve at least half for what I add. Even if we say, like, we go back to the way we started about the copyright being important, even if we say the band who created it in the first place are the most important thing, I don't know. What percentage do I deserve for my Discover videos? I don't know. I'll give the band 80% and I'll take 20%. Do you know what? I'll give the band 95% and I'll take 5%. That doesn't happen. The band gets 100%. And, you know, I live with that, my mercenaries. I'm a musician, believe it or not, and I live with that. So I spent 2 weeks working on my Discover for King Krul's Views. And that's Discover 53. And it's a Discover you will likely never see. It's Discover 53. A video you'll likely never see. It will be. Like when you get bands releasing like the Lost album, like that jazz guy did recently. The Lost album. Or like Dylan, the Basement Tapes. Discover 53 will now be the Lost Discover. Maybe it will come out one day. If King Krul ever eases up on his copyright shit. But what I'm trying to say here is that copyright is a good thing because it's a protection for the artist, but it can be a hindrance. And even if the guys are extreme in holding it, the Beatles, they're never going to let me do a Discover. The Doors, they're never going to let me do a Discover. I have various albums that I'm about to try and do, but I've got an Ariel Pink one I'm going to do, but I think that's going to be worldwide blocked. I've got a Kendrick Lamar one. I think that's going to be worldwide blocked. So now we're at the point, my kind of question, the whole point of this video is, can I justify the time it takes me to do a Discover? To do it. Can I justify it? If it takes me a week to make a video but it's never going to be seen, can I justify it? The answer is obviously no. But it's just such a shame. Because YouTube has a tool where you can sort of have a little go and see whether a band is likely to worldwide block you or not. So I try it. And maybe I could run some graphics on the screen now just to show you it in action. But what happens is, you'll type, King Gizzard in, and it will say, yeah, we'll let you use this. You think, oh, brilliant, okay. Type the Doors in, it will say, no, not a chance. Right? The Beatles, no. The Beatles, not a chance. But you type Tame Impala in, and it says, no, not a chance. And you think, but I've already done Tame Impala, and they did let me. So YouTube's own tool to let you know whether stuff will or won't be allowed doesn't bloody work. My mercenaries. So I can't check before. And then I thought, do you know what? A trick I missed a long time ago. I just realised it now. What I need to do is type the album into YouTube and see whether someone's already uploaded the full album. Because if they have, there's a good chance I can do it. So I did this with Ariel Pink, and no, there is no version of the full album. So there's a good chance that'll be worldwide blocked. Same with Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. Never heard it. But anyway, there's a good chance that'll be worldwide. Certainty that'll be worldwide blocked. The next one I might do, I'll keep it a surprise for now, but the next one I might do, I typed in, and yes, someone's already uploaded the full album. So there's a good chance for that one. So that might be the way around it in the future. But do you know what? It's so bloody hit and miss, my mercenaries, that there's still a good chance I will spend a week of my life, of my short life. I'm getting old, my mercenaries. Spending a week of my life, and then I upload it, and I'm waiting with bated breath. I'm biting my fingernails. Well, I don't bite my fingernails, but I'm biting my fingernails, and I'm worried. And then the email comes through, and you've been worldwide blocked. And my heart just sinks. And I just think, I've wasted my time. And what's worse is, for this particular one, I've wasted my time for King Cruel. Some 16-year-old ginger kid. And I wasted my time for him. And I was bigging him up as well. I was saying that he was the comeback of trip hop. I was comparing him to Portishead and Tricky, the Mercenaries. People, you probably would have bought his album if you'd watched my my video about him. So, you'll never see the use. That will remain a lost discover. Like tears in rain, my Mercenaries. Is there another way? Podrick Floyd's come up with a few ideas. Perhaps I need to abandon the concept of discover, or at least run another idea alongside. Problem is, I know that a lot of you that have subscribed over the last sort of year really like the discovers. And I know that if I do something different, even a video like this one, you'll just unsubscribe. Now, I don't particularly care. Fuck me, I'm not a big channel or anything. I mean, if you don't like me, just unsubscribe. I don't give a shit, not really. But I am aware that some of you subscribe for a purpose. And you certainly weren't subscribers back when I used to do videos in cars. So I just need to think of alternatives as well. I've just got to be savvy. Do you know what I mean? I've got to be careful. So that's my summation of copyright, really. I think it's a dangerous thing for me to be doing, messing with playing people's copyrighted material. There's always the possibility of copyright strike rather than a copyright claim. A copyright strike would take the channel down straight away. You certainly couldn't imagine me being able to do videos that are under 15 minutes. But on the other hand, I think some of the bands, like Morbid Angel, for instance, like I've mentioned, I think they appreciate this. And if I can do a video like this and give a band even 10 record sales, I mean, okay, that's nothing, but it's the principle of the thing, my Mercenaries. It's another outlet, it's another avenue for promotion. And certainly, if you could take me back in time to the days when I was singing Why by in local pubs, if YouTube didn't exist back then, the internet didn't really exist back then, believe it or not, my Mercenaries. I know you've all been born in the internet age, but I used to gig before the internet existed, my Mercenaries. And if you tell me back then that someone would be prepared to play my music and talk about it, positively or negatively, and promote it to the world, and there was a possibility that 10,000 people would watch that person's video about my music, I would have bitten your hand off. But King Cruel has just shoved this bottle right up my rectum, my Mercenaries. I'll tell you what, at the moment, it stings. Thank you for listening. What do you think about what I've said? What do you think, my Mercenaries? What do you think? Let me know down below. Over, over, and